Well, good morning. Welcome to Tuesday morning, June 9th edition of Daily Videos with Pastor Michelle, or Quarantining with Pastor Michelle. I haven't really come up with a very catchy title yet for my daily videos, but I've been doing them for many days. So let's start out with some reflections, shall we? In the deep snow moons of winter, there are stories hovering around us. They are whispered by the voices of our ancestors, told in ancient tongues, told in the hope that we will hear them. Listen. In the drape of moonbeams across a canvas of snow, the lilt of birdsong, the crackle of a fire, the smell of smudge, and the echo of the heartbeats of those around us, our ancestors speak to us, call to us, summon us to the great abiding truth of stories, that simple stories, well told, are the heartbeat of the people, past, present, and future. What's needed are eyes that focus with the soul. What's needed are spirits open to everything. What's needed are the belief that wonder is the glue of the universe and the desire to seek more of it. Be filled with wonder. All right. And so let's begin with some prayer. Our Father and Mother who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever. Amen. So I do hope all of you, let's take a deep breath. I do hope all of you are doing okay. Sorry, just looking at my eyebrows. It's time for a wax. So let's hear some good news this week, right? Let's hear some good news for the day. So this week was #BlackBirders Week, a celebration of Black scientists, nature lovers, and hardcore bird nerds. Thousands of people took to social media to share photos of their own scientific achievements, their favorite birds, and fun bird call mnemonics. What's a bird call mnemonic? I can't even say the word. It's a little phrase birders use to remember a specific bird call. For example, the phrase, drink your tea, resembles the call the Eastern towhee. Did not know that. The organizers of Blackbirders Week say they hope the fascinating conversations and inspiring stories help new generations of Black nature lovers realize there are plenty of ways to pursue their passions, whether it's through becoming a park ranger, conversationist, wildlife biologist, or zookeeper, or just an advocate for the natural world. Why? As one participant put it, nature is for everyone, and that message is even more important now. And so there's some pictures of some of the bird callers and the science lovers. I'm personally not I don't know where I was going with that. I love nature, but I'm not really big into going out and looking for specific birds. But I know a lot of people who aren't, and that's great. That's just not my thing. But I think it's amazing though. I mean, it is something that's pretty fascinating if you think about it, because there's so many different birds and people know like the bird calls and, they stuff. So, sorry, my phone, someone was calling. Sorry, I'm reconnected. So anyway, I'm fascinated by the people who are into, bird calling and bird watching, because it's a fascinating thing, because that's a lot of things that you're learning. So anyway, so today, let's talk about our woman of the day, shall we? Our woman of the day this morning is Helen Keller. So Helen Keller is a writer and activist who overcame her disabilities to help others. So Helen Adams Keller, she was born in 1880 in Alabama. Her parents, Kate Adams and Colonel Arthur, adored their bright baby daughter who started talking at just 6 months. But when she was 19 months old, she fell ill with what the doctor called a brain fever. No one knows exactly what caused it, perhaps scarlet fever or meningitis, but the result was that Helen was now both completely blind and profoundly deaf. And there she is right there. And there she is graduating from Radcliffe College. With the help of the cook's daughters, Martha Washington, Helen Cook's daughter, Martha Washington, Helen invented her own form of sign language, but she was unable to interact with anyone else. As Helen grew older, she became wild and angry, almost completely locked inside herself. Everyone suggested to Helen's parents that she be sent to an institution. Desperate to help her daughter, Helen's mother, Kate, investigated tirelessly, determined to find a better solution. As the Perkins Institute for the Blind in Boston, the Kellers met a teacher named Annie Sullivan and hired her to help rescue Helen from her dark, lonely world. By now, Helen was 6 years old, but things got worse after Annie's arrival. Annie tried to teach Helen finger spelling, forming the letters on Helen's hand as she touched an object. And although she was curious at first, Helen's tantrums increased as she grew more and more frustrated. Then one day, Annie took Helen to the water pump to try to teach her the connection between the letters and the water itself. As she pumped water over Helen's hand, she spelled the letters W-A-T-E-R onto Helen's palm over and over again. Suddenly, it all made sense to Helen. The things she was feeling had a name. She grabbed Annie and ran everywhere, asking Annie to teach her letter names. By bedtime that night, she had learned 30 new words. After this big breakthrough, Helen learned quickly. A few years later, Annie went with Helen to the Horace Mann School for the Deaf, then on to the Perkins School for the Blind. Using finger spelling, lip reading, and Braille, Helen became a strong student. At all her schools, Annie went to Helen's classes with her, translating the teacher's words into Helen's palm. Helen still struggled to speak, though, but Annie could understand her. But Helen persisted, and at Radcliffe College, she became the first deaf-blind person ever to earn a degree from a college or university, graduating even with high honors. Helen wanted to help other deaf and blind people and make the world understand how disabled people felt. With the help of John Macy, she wrote her autobiography, The Story of My Life, which was published before she graduated. Overcoming her speaking difficulties while still depending on Annie for help, Helen began talking to audiences around the world, around the U.S., and eventually all around the world. She made a Hollywood film about blindness and wrote articles, essays, and 4 more books. As an advisor for the newly organized American Foundation for the Blind, she helped raise large amounts of money as well as raising awareness about disability. She certainly changed the world. She changed the way the world saw blind and deaf people, and she changed the way disabled people were treated too. Traveling to over 35 countries, she helped educate the world about disability, sharing the message that disabled people are just like everyone else. She helped to start the American Civil Liberties Union, which continues to work to ensure that everyone is treated equal. Famous from the age of 8, Helen dedicated her life to helping, encouraging, and inspiring others to overcome disability. What Helen achieved through hard work and determination was truly amazing. With the help of her teacher and friend, Helen proved to the world that courage and persistence can help overcome any challenge, no matter how great. And this is a great reminder for us that no matter what we face, one way or another, we can get through it. Some of her quotes: alone we can do so little, together we can do so much. Although the world is full of suffering, it is also full of the overcoming of it. Amen to that. And the best and most beautiful things in the world cannot be seen or even touched. They must be felt with the heart. And so there you can see some of the letters, the water, when they spelled out water. So that's a fascinating, when you think about all the things that she had to overcome. And we're going to be kind of continuing the tradition with Helen Keller, because tomorrow our woman of the day is her teacher, Annie Sullivan. And so just a reminder, I love that the world is full of suffering, but it's also full of people overcoming it and getting through it. And so perhaps that's something to remind ourselves now as we find ourselves in this time of a pandemic and this time of protests and people still being treated less than because of the color of their skin, that one way or another, we are going to get through this. We're going to get to the other side of this. And hopefully when we get to the other side, we'll be better for it. So let's continue on and let's dive right back into Hunger Games, shall we? So as we know, Katniss kind of realized that Peeta probably did her good by saying that he liked her, because that probably gave her sponsors as she's getting ready to go into the arena. And they are getting ready to go into the arena. It's about that time. So They're actually really close. So, the more anxious I am to find sleep, the more it eludes me. Finally, I'm too restless to even stay in bed. I pace the floor, heart beating too fast, breathing too short. My room feels like a prison cell. If I don't get air soon, I'm going to start to throw things again. I run down the hall to the door to the roof. It's not only unlocked, but ajar. Perhaps someone forgot to close it, but it doesn't matter. The energy field enclosing the roof prevents any desperate form of escape. And I'm not looking to escape, only to fill my lungs with air. I want to see the sky and the moon on the last night that no one will be hunting me. The roof is not lit at night, but as soon as my bare feet reach its tiled surface, I see his silhouette black against the lights that shine endlessly in the Capitol. There's quite a commotion going on down in the streets, music and singing and car horns, none of which I could hear through the thick glass window panels in my room. I could slip away now without him noticing me. He wouldn't hear me over the din. But the night's air is so sweet, I can't bear returning to that stuffy cage of a room. And what difference does it make, whether we speak or not? My feet move soundlessly across the tiles. I'm only a yard behind him when I say, "You should be getting some sleep." He starts but doesn't turn. I could see him give his head a slight shake. I didn't want to miss the party. It's for us, after all. I come up beside him and lean over the edge of the rail. The wide streets are full of dancing people. I squint to make out their tiny figures in more detail. Are they in costumes? Who could tell, Peter answers, with all the crazy clothes they wear here. Couldn't sleep either? Couldn't turn my mind off. Thinking about your family? No, I admit a bit guiltily. All I can do is wonder about tomorrow, which is pointless, of course. In the light from below, I can see his face now, that the awkward way he holds his bandaged hands. I really am sorry about your hands. It doesn't matter, Katniss. I've never been a contender in these games anyway. That's no way to be thinking. Why not? It's true. My best hope is to not disgrace myself and what? I don't know how to say it exactly, only I want to die as myself. Does that make any sense? I shake my head. How could he die as anyone but himself? I don't want them to change me in there, turn me into some kind of monster that I'm not. I bite my lip, feeling inferior. While I've been ruminating on the availability of trees, Peeta has been struggling with how to maintain his identity, his purity of self. Do you mean you won't kill anyone? No, when the time comes, I'm sure I'll kill just like everybody else. I can't go down without a fight. Only I keep wishing I could think of a way to show the Capitol they don't own me, that I'm more than just a piece in their games. But you're not. None of us are. That's how the games work. Okay, but within that framework, there's still you. There's still me, he insists. Don't you see? A little. Only, no offense, but who cares, Peeta? I do. I mean, what else am I allowed to care about at this point? He asks angrily. He's locked those blue eyes on mine now, demanding an answer. I take a step back. Care about what Haymitch said about staying alive? Peeta smiles at me, sad and mocking. Okay, thanks for the tip, sweetheart. It's like a slap in the face, his use of Haymitch's patronizing endearment. Look, if you want to spend the last hours of your life planning some noble death in the arena, that's your choice. I want to spend mine in District 12. Wouldn't surprise me if you do. Give my mother my best when you make it back, will you? Count on it, I say. Then I turn and leave the roof. I spend the rest of the night slipping in and out of a doze, imagining the cutting remarks I will make to Peeta Mellark in the morning. Peeta Mellark. We will see how high and mighty he is when he's faced with life and death. He'll probably turn into one of those raging beast tributes, the kind who tries to eat someone's heart after they've killed them. There was a guy like that a few years ago from District 6 called Titus. He went completely savage, and the game makers had to have him stunned with electric guns to collect the bodies of the players he'd killed before he ate them. There are no rules in the arena, but cannibalism doesn't play well with the Capitol audience, so they tried to head it off. There was some speculation that the avalanche that finally took Titus out was specifically engineered to ensure the victor was not a lunatic. I don't see Peeta in the morning. Cena comes to me before dawn, gives me a simple shift to wear, and guides me to the roof. My final dressing and preparations will be done in the catacombs under the arena itself. A hovercraft appears out of thin air, just like the one did in the woods the day I saw the red-headed Avox girl captured, and a ladder drops down. I place my hands and feet on the lower rungs, and instantly it's as if I'm frozen. Some sort of current glues me to the ladder while I'm lifted safely inside. I expect the ladder to release me then, but I'm still stuck when a woman in a white coat approaches me carrying a syringe. This is just your tracker, Katniss. The stiller you are, the more efficiently I can place it, she says. Still, I'm a statue, but that doesn't prevent me from feeling the sharp stab of pain as the needle inserts the metal tracking device deep under the skin on the inside of my forearm. Now the game makers will always be able to trace my whereabouts in the arena. Wouldn't want to lose a tribute. As soon as the tracker's in place, the ladder releases me, the woman disappears, and Cena is retrieved from the roof. An AVOX boy comes in and directs us to a room where breakfast has been laid out. Despite the tension in my stomach, I eat as much as I can, although none of the delectable food makes any impression on me. I'm so nervous I could be eating coal dust. The one thing that distracts me at all is the view from the windows as we sail over the city and then to the wilderness beyond. This is what birds see. Only they're free and safe, the very opposite of me. The ride lasts about a half an hour before the windows black out, suggesting that we're nearing the arena. The hovercraft lands and Cena and I go back to the ladder, only this time it leads down into a tube underground into the catacombs that lie beneath the arena. We follow instructions to my destination, a chamber for my preparation. In the capital, they call it the launch room. In the district, it's referred to as the stockyard, the place animals go before slaughter. Everything is brand new. I will be the first and only tribute to use this launch room. The arenas are historic sites preserved after the games. Popular destinations for capital residents to visit to vacation. Go for a month, rewatch the games, tour the catacombs, visit the sites where the deaths took place. You can even take part in reenactments. They say the food is excellent. I struggle to keep my breakfast down as I shower and clean my teeth. Sheena does my hair in my simple trademark braid down my back. Then the clothes arrive. The same for every tribute. Cena has had no say in my outfit, does not even know what will be in the package, but he helps me. Dress in the undergarments, simply tawny pants, light green blouse, sturdy brown belt, and thin hooded black jacket that falls to my thighs. The material in the jacket's designed to reflect body heat. Expect some cool nights, he says. The boots worn over skin-tight socks are better than I could have hoped for. Soft leather, not unlike my ones at home. These have a narrow, flexible rubber sole with treads, though, good for running. I think I'm finished when Cena pulls the gold Mockingjay pen from his pocket. I have completely forgotten about it. Where did you get that, I ask. Off the green outfit you wore on the train, he says. I remember now taking it off my mother's dress, pinning it to the shirt. It's your district token, right? I nod and he fastens it on my shirt. It barely cleared the review board. Some thought the pen could be used as a weapon, giving you an unfair advantage, but eventually they let it through. They eliminated a ring from that District 1 girl. If you twisted a gemstone, a spike popped out, poisoned one. She claimed she had no knowledge the ring transformed and there was no way to prove she did, but she lost her token. There, you're all set. Move around. Make sure everything feels comfortable. I walk, run in a circle, swing my arms about. Yes, it's fine. Fine, it fits perfectly. Then there's nothing to do but wait for the call, says Cena, unless you think you could eat anymore. I turn down food, but accept a glass of water that I take tiny sips of as we wait on a couch. I don't want to chew on my nails or lips, so I find myself gnawing on the inside of my cheek. It still hasn't fully healed from a few days ago. Soon the taste of blood fills my mouth. Nervousness seeps into terror as I anticipate what is to come. I could be dead. Flat out dead in an hour, not even. My fingers obsessively trace a hard little lump on my forearm where the woman injected the tracking device. I press on it, even though it hurts. I press on it so hard a small bruise begins to form. Do you want to talk, Katniss? Cena asks. I shake my head, but after a moment hold out my hand to him. Cena encloses it in both of his, and this is how we sit until a pleasant female voice announces it's time to prepare for launch. Still clenching one of Tina's hands, I walk over to stand on the circular metal plate. Remember what Haymitch said. Run. Find water. The rest will follow, he says. I nod, and I remember this, and I'm not allowed to bet. But if I could, my money would be on you. Truly. Truly? I whisper. Truly. He leans down and kisses me on the forehead. Good luck, girl on fire. And then a glass cylinder is lowering around me, breaking our handhold, cutting him off from me. He taps his finger under his chin, head high. I lift my chin and stand as straight as I can. The cylinder begins to rise. For maybe 15 seconds, I'm in darkness, and then I can feel the metal plate pushing me out of the cylinder into the open air. For a moment, my eyes are dazzled by the bright sunlight, and I'm conscious only of strong wind with the hopeful smell of pine trees. Then I hear the legendary announcer, Claudius Templesmith, as his voice booms all around me. Ladies and gentlemen, let the 74th Hunger Games begin. So, so tomorrow we will get right into the Hunger Games, the games. So looking forward to that. It is an intense book. I forgot how much I like this book series. So Anyway, I do hope you all have a wonderful as you can day. And just know that, remember that you're loved. And remember to spread that love wherever you go. God bless you all. Stay safe.